I'm telling you now, frankly, those two songs are straight up life for everything Project Moon related, if you ask me. It's important to me. Just as important as I can say the Canto 4 is finally real. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Limbus Company. It's only been a couple of months, but it feels like years.
처음으로 우리가 숨을 쉰다고 느꼈던 그날을 기억하오? 그때는 말일세. 그 숨만으로도 충분했었어. 아님 유독 그날만 공기가 맑았거나.
The view is obscured by smoke and dust. Terrified screams, hopeless outcries, pained moans, and the sound of hard objects breaking create a cacophony.
시계를 돌려야.
I can hear Yi-sung, the only conscious sinner at the moment, muster up his remaining strength to speak. The others are on the floor among dismembered corpses like powerless puppets. Fatal injuries were left by an abnormality. Yet, we are in the middle of a nest. Weren't abnormalities supposed to be confined within lobotomy corpse branch facilities or dungeons? Meanwhile, the abnormality pierced Yi-sung's abdomen as I wondered. I had no one else to share this question with.
이번엔 어디를 가는 건가요?
The sinners seemed to grow quite accustomed to this work, as if we were on a road trip. Some were far less hesitant to ask about our next destination.
그건 저희가 해결사 사무소처럼 외부로부터 의뢰까지 받는다는 소리예요?
Well, I mean, you certainly look the part of a fixer office. You're just on the road. You're like the Devil May Cry van. If ever you actually end up as cool or as successful.
너희도 알다시피 황금가지라는 존재는 비교적 최근에 발견된 개념이다. 다행스럽게도 일전에 거쳐온 제2사나 D사는 황금가지에 특별한 관심을 두지 않았어. 그래서 뒷골목의 잡배들이 어슬렁거리거나 변변치 않은 것들이 조직을 만들어 점령하곤 했지. 하지만 일찌감치 황금가지의 존재를 눈치채기도 한 날개도 있지. 지금 우리가 있는 K사처럼.
Although, didn't we take K-Corp's Golden Bell?
하지만 K사에 있었던 황금가지는 우리가 이미 얻은 거 아니었어?
Exactly. Thank you, Gregor.
로보토미 지부는 우리의 생각보다 복잡하다. 말 그대로 가지처럼 곳곳에 뻗어 있지.
So what you're saying is... No, never mind. Virgil's gonna work us like a horse until we no longer have hooves. I know this already.
저희 집 지하실과 연결되어 있던 것처럼 말이죠.
황금가지에 대한 소유권은 아직까지 명확히 정의된 바가 없다. 그렇기 때문에 황금가지를 최초로 발견한 자에게 소유권이 넘어간다라는 원시적인 규칙을 적용하고 있을 뿐이고.
Because that tends to be the going rules of a lot of things in society. You know this as well as I do.
뭐 잠들어 있는 보물은 원래 먼저 찜한 사람이 가지는 거니까.
Exactly. They're saying what we're all thinking. Yeah, needless to say, it seems to me like, based on some notes Dante took during the downtime, this particular branch that Virgil is running for Limbus Company actually is the only one primarily concerned with the Golden Bowels, and I'm just like, yeah, alright, I will take your word for it. By the way...
자, 그럼 목적지에 도착할 때까지 닥치고 있도록 늘 하던 대로 말이야.
단테 씨가 무언가를 말하려는 것 같았어요.
Thank you, Faust.
미안하게 됐습니다, 단테. 째깍거리는 것에 일일이 반응해 준다는 게 여간 익숙한 일은 아니니까 말입니다.
You're only saying that to be a smartass, aren't you? So what are the Golden Bells used for anyway? When I think about it, all we were told was a vague order to collect them, and nothing about what the company plans to do with them.
관리자 단테, 회사의 행보에 호기심을 다 가지시다니. 그렇다면 이 길잡이도 친절한 설명을 통해 관리를 도와야만 하겠군요. 황금 가지라는 건 말 그대로 가지입니다. 줄기에서 뻗어나가고자 하는 부분이 있다면 그것을 가지라고 부르지요. 그리고 그 가지는 황금색으로 빛나죠.
Well, that explains a lot.
오, 과연
Don Quixote was the only one responding passionately to this information. Thanks to this exchange, he painted me as an ignorant bloke who doesn't even know what a branch is. Rhodia shrugs at me as if to chaff me for expecting a real answer.
베르, 길이 막혔어. 돌아가야 해.
Oh, look. The red gaze is gazing pure red. He looks upset.
막혔다고요? 막다른 길은 이상한데요. 더군다나 K사 둥지 한복판에 뭔가 소동이 생길 일이 있을.
Before Ishmael could finish her sentence, a dull thud at the window interrupted her.
방금 버스에 부딪혀서 튕겨져 나간 거 사람이었지?
40대 초반으로 보이는 남성. 후두부에 큰 손상을 입은 것 같군. 부딪히기 전부터 죽어 있었다.
그래, 단순한 소동은 아닌 듯하군. 내려, 해결할 수 있는 문제라면 해결한 후 다시 돌아오고,
그럴 수 있는 문제가 아니라면?
해결이 될 때까지 끊임없이 시계가 돌려지겠지.
That's one elegant way to tell us to go die a thousand deaths.
그럼 전원 하차. 왜? 어차피 이렇게 말할 거 아니었어? 대신 말해준 거잖아.
기대되네요. 이번엔 또 어떤 모험이 우리를 기다리고 있을까요?
We got a fast one on Virgil, and Virgil couldn't handle it. I'm a little bit shocked. Then again, I suppose the thing that I can appreciate the most is Rhodia just looking at this man who will quite literally do what he can to torture you into submission and just go, you know what, stealing your catchphrase, don't mind me. It's important. The comedy in this game is actually pretty on point with the horror in this entire series, you know? It makes me happy. Oh, you're up. The child speaks plainly. If it weren't for the visible scenery, it could easily be mistaken for a cordial greeting to someone who just woke up from a sweet slumber. Good thing you got up in time. If the work's done while the heart beats too slow, it impacts the taste. The child watches someone laid on the floor with a light cackle. The pitiful fellow writhes and struggles on the floor, unable to accept the situation. Hey, don't move too much. I told the sous chef to sap enough wind out of the meat. The child slapped the poor fellow's cheek, her words heartless. Can't stand when the subject material tries to take the center of the art on its own. Keep still if you don't want your LB. Here's your reward for being such an OP. The child inserted a syringe she'd been fiddling with into the victim. It's an injection of anesthetics mixed with a variety of flavoring agents, a pricey concoction that will make you the greatest work in the backstreets, a delicacy, and art. The child's constant rambling about art and such can be a bit confusing. One thing to note is that the backstreets of District 23 are known as the Streets of Flavor. That's right, the backstreets located around the nest where W Corp is. Its culture revolves around gastronomy. The people seek good eating and derive beauty from it. Those closely related to the culinary arts such as the 8 chefs and the Doshalin guides also originate from this place. This child wants to join the ranks of the prestigious 8. She uses humans, often called one of the flowering pinnacles of artistic cuisine, as her main ingredient. To that end, the child set up an establishment here and named it RB. Such acronyms must be the child's adamant preference. As one could guess, the child makes meat pies. They have been earning a certain kind of reputation among gourmets. Now, you can feel your senses numbing, yes? The child delightfully watched her victim as she examined her blade. You'd better be a good material. I'm starting to run out of patience with that dull, bungling, inexperienced assistant Gregor. Clicking her tongue, the child began to grumble, going on about how she dislikes her assistant's sluggish pace, his tendency to bring her bad ingredients, his dull cleaver damaging the goods, and so on. Well, whatever. I'll fire in the moment I rise as one of the 8 chefs. While the child complains, the victim's eyelids begin to drift shut. Why is she so annoyed? What will become of them? Their thoughts blur away, and their consciousness dims. Back to work for now. Now, smile. You're about to be at the center of an art piece. Looking into the victim, the child raises her knife. Was it a coincidence that the stains of blood on her knife resembled a grin? Seeing her face, it looks like there is no need to wonder at all. Don't you just love it? The idea that people are head over heels for this woman. The child took a sip of black tea, her eyes gently closed. In this moment of rest, she was reflecting on the past. It had been years since she joined the association, and much had happened in that time. As a fixer, she would partake in missions and fight battles. She would hurt others, and she would be wounded by others. This child wasn't unskilled by any means. If she were, she wouldn't have gotten this far, right? She herself knew that managing and leading people was more fitting an occupation, so it should be a good thing for her. Though some might scoff at how insignificant the position of directing Section 6 was. It would be as silly as complaining about the ending of an ongoing story when the child's goal was set further beyond. These numbers are off. The child's eyes sparked. The glint was evidently in her eyes rather than the glasses she wore. It's me. Are you nearby? In a series of gestures as natural as flowing water, the child picked up the phone and made a call. Fieldwork. Yeah, I figured. It was the higher-ups, wasn't it? The other fixer's voice leaked through the phone. It was one of surprise, startled by the child's correct guess. It's far from the first time. Let's see. Your job should be done in about an hour or so, correct? The child gave the pile of documents on her desk a side glance. There were peculiar business expenses and signs of different personnel being called to the same site on multiple occasions. A picture was beginning to form in the child's mind. Got it. Make sure to visit Section 6's training room as soon as you're done. This child needed someone with whom to review her theory. Someone that she'd always been keeping an eye on. Yes, bring that individual with you. Rudis HR variant.
버스 너머로 봤다시피 이곳은 둥지 한복판입니다. 예상치 못한 소동과는 거리가 제일 멀어야 할 장소죠.
It's so tame compared to the other center, it's almost ridiculous. You gotta understand, Ryoshu is a different bag altogether.
그렇다는 건 진기한 소동이라는 뜻인가요?
Everyone except the drowsy Hong Lu was tensed up, carefully looking at what was going on. is that? Someone was running this way in a hurry from the other side. The civilian was too busy running to look ahead. They bumped into the sinners and fell to the ground.
저기로 가면 안 돼요.
I like her vest.
자자, 안심하시오. 우리는 그대들을 지키기 위해 달려온.
영웅 같은 건 아니니까 쓸데없는 말은 하지 마시죠.
어이, 우린 저 앞으로 가야 돼. 별것도 아닌 걸로 멈춰 세운 거면 몽둥이 찜질 당할 줄 알아라.
Looking at Heathcliff's intimidating face and Ishmael's frowned expression in turn, the civilian seemed to take a moment to consider which would be more of a threat.
있어서는 안 될 것이. 뭔지는 모르겠어요. 처음 보는 것이. 다들 소리 지르면서 도망치다가 사람들이 나뒹굴고 불에 타고.
Wait, what do you mean by that? Keeping the suspected possibilities in our minds, we headed for the center of the disturbance.
이게 어떻게 된 일이죠?
Okay, what am I looking at? I see a crying ape of some sort coming out of the mouth of a bull that seems to be gripping a human person. None of this makes sense, and I don't think K-Corp is having a good time of it either.
그 뒤틀림인지 뭔지일 수도 있는 거 아니야? 치킨집처럼.
No, that's different. This one is an abnormality, not a distortion. I'm sure of it somehow. But then why? Why is an abnormality in the middle of a nest?
파우스트도 보고 받아본 적 없는 현상이네요. 대부분의 로보토미 지부들은 몰락과 동시에 지부 폐쇄를 진행했어요.
I was reminded of the burial site Yuri talked about, but I was quickly shook off by the gloomy memories.
설사 그 사이에 환상체가 탈출을 했더라도 적어도 이번 작전 직전에는 보고가 있었어야 타당해요. LCC가 저런 광경을 확인하지 못했을 것이라고 생각하긴 어려우니까요.
저기 있는 사람들은 K사 쪽에서 파견된 직원들일까요?
환상체를 제압하고 있다기보다는 그냥 무참히 짓밟히고 있는데요.
마치 D사 지부에서 신나게 쥐어터졌던 우리 모습을 보는 것 같은 걸.
아니, 전에 닭집도 그러더니 K사는 원래 이런 거야? 이제 이런 식의 환영 인사는 사양하고 싶은데.
I'd almost call it a second coming of the White Nights and Dark Days at this point. Right as they complained, debris created by the abnormality narrowly grazed past us.
뭐해? 얼빠지게 구경만 하고 있다간 우리도 저 새끼들도 모조리 곤죽행이라고.
단단히 착각하고 있는 모양인데 저기 제정신 아닌 꼬맹이가 매일 짓거리는 헛소리에 세뇌라도 당한 건가?
정신 나간 꼬맹이가 어디 있는 곳이오?
Gee, I wonder. Explain.
겪어본 고통일수록 더 두려워지는 법이니까.
You know what, that's actually pretty accurate. The more accustomed you are to seeing the threat, the more your instincts just say, nah, that's
하지만 앞에서 사람들이 계속 죽어가고 있는데요.
시간은 걸리고 희생은 많겠지만 언젠간 제압을 하겠지. 바로 우리처럼. 그리고 죽을 때마다 부모나 찾으며 울던 녀석이 몸소 희생을 자처할 줄은 몰랐군.
Listen, cut the boy a break. He literally had to murder a groomer to get to this point. Leave him alone.
이제 죽는 것 따위는 우스운가 보지?
수감자들 사이에서 최적의 판단을 내려야 한다면 이자의 말이 맞다.
We're not fixers, and we certainly cannot be heroes. Turning the clock obviously hurts whenever I do it, and the pain is something I can never get used to. And yet... Think we should suppress it. I
can't logically explain why, but I feel like we should.
시계 대가리에 너도 똑같은 헛소리를 했다면 시계째로 웃기고 뛰쳐나갔을 거야.
결정이라면 따르겠습니다.
그래 뭐 잘한 선택일 거야.
저 그렇게 판단해 주셔서 감사해요.
You're welcome, boyo.
별것도 아닌 일에 쓸데없이 잡생각이 많군 시계. 예술가는 못 되겠어.
I don't need to be an artist, and I sure as hell need you to stop calling me clock. The sinners walked ahead after leaving me a comment. While all the other sinners went ahead, Faust remained and gave me a peculiar stare.
What is it? You think my judgment was inefficient?
아니요. 모든 기억을 되찾은 당신이 어떤 반응을 할지 흥미로워서요.
Faust's strange statement had me in place for a moment, but I decided I want to deal with questions that are immediately ahead of me first.
Faust, I've been wondering for a while. Are you really okay with being treated like this, considering your talent and everything?
Someone of Faust's caliber should have no problem enjoying luxurious life in the city.
파우스트는 괜찮아요. 그리고 인재라는 말은 파우스트에게 적합한 단어는 아닌 것 같군요.
What would you call it? Occupational standard?
인재는 다수가 될 수 있지만 파우스트는 다수에 포함되고 싶지 않으니까요.
Oh, okay then. This is just another example of her being haughty. I get it. Yisung stops walking behind the other sinners and turns around to face me. Looking again, his eyes are actually staring into the emptiness behind me.
그렇지 않소. 나는 날개짓을 멈춘 지 오래요. 그러니 재능을 논하는 것은 무용한 짓일 테요. 관리자.
But I like your talent, your poetry, and your ability to ask where the ideal is every single time your name is brought up by accident, because apparently Yisung and ideal mean the same thing. Curiously enough, I find that some sinners feel more distant as we spend more time together.
저 날아다니는 기계는 뭐지? 아까부터 거슬려. 110생을 3000번째 하고 있는 중.
You said it, Ryoshu. I'm not a fan of drones either.
우리도 그럼 뉴스라는 거에 나오는 것인가?
The fact that you don't know what the news actually is tells me that's going to be a fat...
그런데 이 드론들 왜 시체랑 죽어가는 사람들만 찍고 있는 거예요?
뭐 자극적인 쪽으로 시선이 몰리는 건 당연한 일이지 않겠어?
And this is why Dawn is better off not knowing about the news.
이만큼 끔찍한 사고가 일어났다. 뭐 이런 거지 않을까?
하지만
잠깐 꼬맹이 앞에.
Oh,
아무리 봐도 이상하잖아요.
I can't believe they're killing my boy this quick.
Sinclair.
이것 봐요. 왜 저를 계속 찍고 있는 건데요?
난 혼 없는 관객은 좋아하지 않아.
수가 적지 않다. 그리고 이 드론 환상치가 날뛰는 지역에 접근하지 못하도록 의도적으로 봉쇄를 하고 있는 것 같군.
그럴 리가. 도와주러 온 사람한테 굳이 나서서 방해를 하겠어?
I have no idea. Now the drones started lining up and formed a wall as if to stop us from going any farther. I see. Allow me to speak in your native language.
You see, I don't fully comprehend what it is that you're doing here. I was brought here to stop an abnormality incident. I was told that we would be getting free chicken on top of that, and you know what? They lied to me. They lied so hard that, frankly speaking, the only one who actually got to enjoy the fruits of our labor was a bus station attendant. So tell me how that feels for you, my friend.
K사의 직원들이 파견되었습니다. 시민 여러분은 안전합니다. 10m 이상 물러나 주시기를 바랍니다.
아니, 그러니까 그 잘난 너네 직원들이 다 뒤져가고 있다니까?
안녕하십니까? 시민 여러분은 안전합니다. 10m 이상 물러나 주시기를 바랍니다.
애초에 말이 안 되는 방송이에요.
이런 난장판에서 고작 10m 이상 물러난다고 안전해지겠어요?
Ah, yes. Truly, this is bots in a nutshell. I don't know about you, chat, but frankly speaking, Cassie Way's song about not needing robots is becoming true. Every step of the way. The clock person is a weird, scrawny dude I sympathize with. How do they eat? Through the number 6 hole. Duh. Well, gee, I guess I'm a little bit of an idiot for not thinking about that. It's even more likely when promotional art of Dante as a child depicts them as a cuckoo clock, so maybe you're on the money with that. Wait. We're fighting the drones as abnormalities too? Okay, if you say so. I'm fine with being unopposed. I'm also fine with getting them straight to hell, you know? Why do you keep missing like that? Honestly, I like Chef Ryoshu a lot. If this continues the way it is, I might have to swap them out for 7 Ryoshu. Which not gonna lie, I feel like I like a lot more just the idea of, have you seen her fit? It's nice. I did not expect her to look this good in green, but you know what? It works for me. There's also me looking at Lou Merceau over here and just going, this fit low-key rocks for everybody who has it, you know? Especially Gregor and Hong Lu, but then again, it's a fixer association. They kind of have the whole drip situation down pat. It's like working for Passione and JoJo. You kind of have to stand out. As much as they will tell you that they prefer to hide in plain sight, it's too loud for that to be true, you know? There's something about Merceau punting a drone out of the sky till it explodes that I just can't help but appreciate. I was about to say, if this turns into a clash war with a giant raging bull, I'm gonna laugh. I do not like that, though. Doesn't matter, though. We're taking its horns. Low-key reminds me of the Demon of Song from Dark Souls 2. You know, the idea of that thing quite literally turn itself inside out so you fight its whatever's going on in that. It's a giant frog. And as we know from last night, fighting giant warp toads, I think we understand already. Very nice. Oh boy, they keep lambasting my boy Gregor. What do you mean you won't listen to a bug? There are no bugs here. It's not my fault that Franz Kafka low-key believes in jokes, but let's see here. Very nice. And look at that, we get to go again. With the CEO of Drip himself. Okay, never mind. What? Okay, I thought we were suppressing it. What happened? Hopefully not, considering one of us was attacked by them.
합당한 방어였다고 재선에서 보고서로 처리해보죠.
파우, 내가 말했던가? 자기는 정말 뭐라 해야 하지? 암튼 그거 짱이야.
깨달음이 느리신 편이군요. 뭔가 이상해요. 이 환상체요. 평소와는 다른 느낌이 들어요.
평소라고 할 만큼 많이 겪은 건 아닌 것 같지만.
What?
뭐 주위에 소리 지르는 구경꾼들이 있다는 정도가 다르긴 한가?
어떻게 된 거야 이 환상체들? 둥지 복판에 나타난 것도 모자라서 왜 지금까지 만난 환상체보다 더 끔찍해졌지?
And I've seen that one in the mirror dungeons a few times too. Never in a fight though. Come to think of it, what was the deal with those abnormalities in the mirror dungeons that didn't fight us?
우리가 본 건 거울 던전의 균열을 통해서 엿본 환상체의 심상이자 보금자리예요.
그것은 굉장히 좁고도 불안정한 균열이요.
맞아요. 그래서 한정된 상호작용만 가능했던 거죠.
그딴 건 모르겠고 이건 왜 이리 끈질겨? 철도에서 잡은 것들만큼 독한데.
Wow, They're quite literally referencing the side content in the main story. I'm surprised.
확실히 그러하다.
게다가 환상체에게서 떨어지는 이 기분 나쁜 액체는 뭐죠?
It's probably ankephalin. Enkephalin. That's what I mean. As the sinners pointed out, the abnormalities here were clearly different from the ones we encountered before. This is oozing mysterious liquid with a blue glint. It's butane, that's what it is.
성분을 검토할 시간은 없으니 최대한 신체와 닿지 않게 해야겠어요.
알아. 굳이 묻히면서 다닐 생각은 없다고.
Does that count as an ARA? I don't think it does.
야, 이것들 어디서 뭐 잘못 주워 먹은 거 아니야? 무슨 광견병 걸린 것 마냥.
히스클리프 씨, 위요!
Heathcliff was knocked onto the ground, unable to resist.
관리자님, 아무래도 고생 좀 하시겠네요.
If I figured it would come to this,
I've come too far to be afraid of pulling dead sinners back into life.
let's beat her and head back.
I can't believe we've entered the arc of this game where Dante is just like,
조기 소진 걱정은 안 해도 되겠는걸.
I forgot that. I forgot how loud that actually is.